Well, it's a bit breezy on site today. I'm actually at the fort of Lavatris, which is in County Durham, in the town or the village of Bowes. And I'm inside the Norman castle now, and it's rather ruinous spiral staircase, you can just see. But I'm here to visit the fort that the Norman castle is built inside. It was founded around about AD 70 by the governor Pertilius Cerialis, who came before the great general Agricola. And he was campaigning in this area. Fort at Eboracum was founded, York, and also one at Lugvalium. We know that was there in about AD 73. And obviously they needed a road over the Pennines to connect the two together. So this fort here marks the line of that road. There are several all along the road. There's another one over at Brough in Cumbria. This one is in County Durham. And of course, when the Normans arrived, as usual, they took the old ruinous stone Roman fort and continued to use it as a defensive position. The village of Bowes sits just outside Barnard Castle on the busy A66, which the Roman road has now become. The red pins indicate where Roman remains are still visible along the route, including watchtowers and marching camps. The Normans built a castle of timber in around 1131, and this was replaced in stone using Roman masonry from the fort in around 1171. Now in the hands of Edward II, the castle saw much conflict during the Scottish and English border wars, was finally left in ruins after an attack by the Scots in the 14th century. Finally, it was sold by James I, and by the time of the Civil War it was in ruin and the stone used around the village for rebuilding. Only the southwestern corner of the fort is now visible within the meadow fields, the rest of the fort having disappeared under the graveyard of St Giles and also the later Norman castle. So I'm walking very roughly on the line of the Via Decimana, which would have run to the south gate of the fort. Strength units and cohorts would have come and gone from this fort, but we know the first cohort of Thracians were here, around about 500 men. That included around about 120 cavalry troops. The Roman bathhouse is just behind where I'm standing in the lower field, and is now visible as a low hollow. If I was standing here in the Roman period, I would have been looking at a wall around about 4 metres high with a crenellated top. Well, it's a pretty breezy day, but I'm standing here on the western edge of the fort platform. I'm actually in the ditch area, and then the wall would have been just above me where the thicker grass is. The fort originally in the AD 70s would have been in timber, and then sometime in the 2nd century the fort was rebuilt in stone and continued in stone until its final demise, and the Romans abandoned the site, and then the Normans turned up some 600 years later, roughly. There's plenty more investigation of the site to be done in the future. There's still much we don't know about this particular fort. Walking back across the field, it's worth stopping to look at these magnificent garderobe chutes built into the Norman castle. The subsequent human waste dropped down them would have had to been cleaned out and was probably put in the fields as manure, but not the job I would have wanted to have done. So we're now at St Giles, along the edge of the rampart, which is under the churchyard, of the northeast corner of the fort. Well, I've just popped into the church of St Giles, and I'm here to see what that was. And I've just popped into see a rather interesting inscription, which I'll show you now. It's just tucked away into the corner of the church. Here we are. This magnificent inscription slab. There's an altar there, an altar here as well. Looks like a font or something there. This was actually found in the old vicarage at Bowes, reused as a slab in the floor, now brought into the church, thank goodness. So if I just kneel down and use the highlighter. So using the highlighter we can see Imperial Caesars and the name of the emperor, Lucius Septimius Severus Pius Pertinax, conqueror of Arabia and Parthia. We also have the name of his sons, Marcus Aurelius Antoninus Pius, known to us these days as Caracalla. The next line down has been erased, completely destroyed, and this is the damnation of the memory of Caracara's brother Geta, who he murdered after returning back to Rome. Both brothers were on campaign in Britain with their father Severus, who died in York in 211. The two brothers rushed back to Rome to consolidate power, but Geta was murdered and died in the arms of his mother shortly afterwards. This brutal damnatio memoriae was a way of removing somebody from history. The final line gives us a unit name, and in this case it's the first cohort of Thracians, partly mounted. It's difficult to know how many Thracians may have made it up to this windy fort on Stainmoor. The name by this time in the Empire may have been just a legacy name that the cohort still hung on to. We also have the name of the Emperor's Praetorian Legate for Britannia, and his name was Lucius Alfrenus Senecio. So there we have it, a Roman fort and a Norman castle. What more can you ask? Hope you've enjoyed the content of the video. Please like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks again for watching.